unprecedented for the United States to come out and say, oh, we made a mistake and sorry for the genocide. This has happened in Rwanda. This has happened in Sri Lanka. There are various instances of it as it has happened in Sudan. Will the United Nations learn this time around as well?
Well, you pointed out very clearly that there have been previous failures. There have been other instances where genocide and crimes against humanity took place. The UN missed the opportunity to stop that, both in Rwanda and Sri Lanka. And after Sri Lanka, there was a very comprehensive report that was done that outlined those failures, and that was why the Human Rights Upfront Plan was actually brought up. This was the response of the system, and the system failed to implement it in Myanmar, and nobody was held accountable for that failure. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, what you're talking about is a United Nations which continues to write reports and continues to have resolutions, but it cannot seem to overcome the divisions within the member states. That is one point that this report makes that's important, that the UN Security Council should have taken action on this.
But the interesting point here is
a very clear situation where they needed to act and they didn't.
Right. And Mr. Robertson, sorry for interrupting here, but as the report mentioned that there needs to be better coordination between the member states, and as you mentioned, the Human Rights Upfront Act that was brought in 2014, that stated that there needs to be a change to the UN engagement with member states. It already identified that as being a weakness. It already pointed out that that needs to be something that needs to be rectified. There is no mistake that there is a flaw in the system, but can we realistically expect this flaw for being corrected in the near future?
Well, I mean, I do think that the United Nations can learn lessons. I mean, I do think that, if this report had actually named names and required some people to be thrown out of the UN service, including the UN resident coordinator who presided over this mess, we would see some action here. But since no one has been held accountable, this report just seems to be inconvenient, and now Renata, the UN resident coordinator, has effectively been promoted. She's now the UN resident coordinator in India.
Right.
I have to ask whether she's going to stand up to human rights abuses by the Modi government. I rather doubt it. And she has a track record of failure, and she should not be in the system anymore.